Today on Grand Cuisine, crisps, cobblers, crumbles, flummeries, buckles, grunts, slumps, sunkers, duffs, pan-downies, and roly-polies. What in the world is all of that? That is good old American dessert making. And we're going to find out exactly what all those crazy names mean. So come along and slump with me here on Grand Cuisine today. So let's talk about this. I'm going to need some help from my notes, but here we go. First, at the very top, at the very echelon of really high-end quality American desserts, we have, for fruits that are baked, we have crisps and cobblers. Now, what is the difference? A crisp is going to be fruit that is sweetened and it is baked with a crumb topping that will consist of flour and nuts, possibly oats, cinnamon, butter, all mixed up so you get a very crispy top. If you have a cobbler, it is the same or similar fruit filling, and on top is biscuits. Many times they're either cut out or it's a softer biscuit dough that you actually spoon on top of the fruit, and then these are baked. From there, we start to work our way down. So then we look at buckles. Now, buckles are actually like a cake. So it's really the biscuit dough where you mix the fruit into the dough and bake that. So you have almost a French clafoutis, but strictly American. Then, my favorite, grunts and slumps, which once again are the same fruit with the same biscuit dough, but the dough is maybe thinner, or the fruit may bubble up more, and you get that grunt or slump look where things are not quite as uniform and clean. We associate slumps with a lot of berry cooking, where we would bake berries that we would pick in the summer and add this dough and then go from there. Now, sunkers, which is a new one on me, is specifically from Surry County, North Carolina. Shout out to Surry County. And it is similar to a grunt or slump, but it is even soupier. And then we get into flummeries, and flummeries really come at the beginning because flummeries were one of the original desserts. In fact, in the cookbook of 1623, which is called Country Continents of the English Housewife, 1623, it describes a flummery as a mixture of a grain with eggs, milk, sugar, spices, dried fruit that is cooked, and then it is served with either a boiled custard or a cream. So, and then we get into duffs, which are actually puddings, which have egg, flour, seasoning, dried fruits, and those are steamed in a cloth bag. We have pan-downies, which actually brings us back up to almost the cobbler, except now we're looking at a pie dough. And then my last one, which I love, are roly-polies, which is once again a biscuit dough where you roll it out and you spread fruit filling on it and you roll it up and either cut it or bake it whole and you get a roly-poly. So there we go. So our recipe today is from our good friend, Chef Estes, and he offers a recipe for an apple slump. He tells us to take apples, put them into a pan that are cut, pared, and peeled and sliced, and then he tells us to put a good paste over them and bake it. And that's what we get for our slump. Well, we hate to tell Chef Estes that he's really describing more of a pan downy than a slump. And I think what we find through all of this is that colloquially, regionally, these terms are going to be interchangeable and they're going to mean all kinds of things. But we're going to go with that idea and we're going to make a really nice short dough, and then we're going to put it over an apple filling and we're going to bake it and make the most delicious slumpified pan downy cobbler you've ever had. So, Chef Estes tells us to make a good paste. So that's what we're going to do. We're actually going to use one of my favorite doughs, which is a 1-2-3 dough that I almost always come back to. So this is a short dough that is made by the creaming method, and I'm going to show you how to make it based on your butter. So I have 4 ounces of butter that I'm going to put into a bowl, and because I have 4 ounces of butter, that is the 2 in my 1-2-3. This is a ratio. So I need about 2 ounces of sugar, but I'm going to do more like 3. So it's right about half a cup of sugar, and I'm going to add that into my bowl with my butter, and then I'm going to cream that together and just mix it in really, really well. Now, to my creamed butter sugar mixture, I'm going to add in 1 egg, and we're going to mix that in. And then the number 3 in my 1-2-3 is my flour. So since my 2 is 4 ounces or half a cup of butter, I'm going to add in right at 3/4 to 1 cup of flour. So we're going to add in just kind of a scant cup of flour. We're going to mix that in. And you want to just mix this till it comes to a dough. And there we go. This is wonderful if you're making tart shells. I also use it if making cookies that I roll for like cutout cookies. It's a really, really great dough. So if it's soft, you can go ahead and chill it for about half an hour, and then you'll be ready to roll it out. So to make the apple filling for our apple slump, we're going to go ahead and take some apples, and I'm simply going to cut them in half, and then I'm going to cut them again in quarters, cut each side in quarters, and then I'm going to take out the center, which is the core of those apples, really easily. And then at this point is when I like to peel them. So I'll go ahead and peel the outside. I always encourage my students and anyone cooking to become really adept with your paring knife, because it's so much easier and so much faster to learn how to use a paring knife correctly. So you notice that I'm holding the paring knife with my hand and I'm holding my thumb against the item and then peeling gently, applying even pressure as I peel my items. I'm going to peel that, and then I can just go ahead and slice those up into my bowl. And then I will continue this with the remainder of my apples. So now with our apples cut, if we were to follow Chef Estes' recipe, he tells us to put it into our baking dish, cover it with our paste, and bake it. And then after it's done, we can actually lift the dough and sprinkle it with sugar and cinnamon and then replace it. I think I'm going to do it a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and add some sugar, maybe about 3 or 4 tablespoons, and just a teaspoon or 2 of cinnamon to my apples, and get that all done beforehand. So I'm just going to mix those in pretty much like a standard apple pie. And then I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it directly into my baking dish. And now I'll be ready to add our pie or our pastry dough to the top. So I've allowed my short dough to chill for about 30 minutes, and now I'm going to go ahead and roll it out. So here's our finished apple slump, ready to go, freshly baked in our wood cook stove. So we're going to go ahead and serve it. Of course, this is more rustic. We don't actually cut wedges. We take it and just break through that wonderful crust and just pull out a real nice amount. Oh, look at that. We've got all the juices on the bottom. We want to pull some of those and the apples. And then we're going to serve this with a little sweetened whipped cream. And that is super hot. A little whipped cream there. That whipped cream's not going to last for long. So let's go ahead and taste this with my whipped cream spoon here. So it's got a wonderful, wonderful flavor, wonderful aroma. So good. Crust is crispy and buttery, really good flavor. The apples are so delicious. So there we go. This is American desserts at its finest. From Chef Rufus Estes, it is an apple slump. It's more of an apple pan downy. We've gone through all of them, from grunts to crisps to downies to roly-polies. We've acknowledged and experienced them all. Now it's time to make some. So we thank you so much for joining us here at Grand Cuisine. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like us. We love all these people who are subscribing, who are becoming permanent fixtures here at Grand Cuisine. We love having you. Stick around. We have lots more fun stuff ahead, and we will see you soon. Happy cooking.